Valentine tank. It's a Tier 4 British light tank. It's located on the north spawn of Lakeville, and this one is under the command of WoodyAmsterdam. And he's landed in another game, a late night game, with only 7 players, and 3 of them on each side are bots. Game on! Well, not many people actually know that the Valentine tank was the most mass-produced British tank during the Second World War. It far exceeded the Matilda. They built 8,275 of them. 6,355 of those were built in the UK, and another 1,420 were actually built in Canada. And they were extremely useful, and they were exported not only to Australia, but also to the Soviet Union, who actually had some on hand at the Battle of Moscow when the Germans actually reached the limits of the city. And in fact, they were responsible for defending Moscow and keeping it in Soviet hands. They were very durable tanks, very solid tanks, and actually a lot of other vehicles were actually made from the hulls and chassis, including the Bishop, which of course you know, and also the Valentine AT. And we've got a replay featuring the Valentine AT coming up later. They only built one Valentine AT, of course it was a prototype, but they actually intended to build another anti-tank vehicle, and they used the Valentine as the hull for the Archer, which of course features the 17-pounder. Now, if we see which gun he's actually got in this one, he's actually got the 40mm, the 2-pounder, capable of, if we see here, 50 alpha, 78mm pen, and with the premium rounds, it goes up to 121mm. Okay, enemy in sight. Now, it's got a rather fast reload time. Standard reload is 4.79 seconds. And that's with the Top Gun, which is actually the 6-pounder. And we can see that his reload time, 2.97. So he's actually reduced it about a second. Oh, it's very nice of him to drive back out like that. And we get a second shot as well. He didn't track him. He should have done that, really. To be honest, it's a very accurate weapon, the 40mm. But I suppose it's just one of those battles. Now, the only weak spot, really, apart from the driver's port, right at the front of the vehicle, which I think you can see there, it's that little spot there. But there is the corrugated cover of the... let's see, it can do that. Oh, didn't pen. He's loaded. No, he's still firing standard ammo. Samur is in sight and he's firing at us. But he's bouncing off us because the arm's very, very thick at the front of the vehicle. It's actually 60mm stick, and the Samur has actually resorted to firing HE because he just can't get through with the armor piercing, which is very indicative, really, of what it was like with the Valentine. Very thick armor indeed. It's an infantry tank. It was actually designed to go with the troops at the same speed as the troops. And in fact, in many of the pictures you see of Soviets using the Valentine, you can see that the back of the vehicle is piled over with Soviet troops, keeping themselves warm because, of course, the cover at the back is is not only the engine cover, but it actually almost acts like a radiator, that corrugated cover. And so it kept the troops warm as they were driving along. And it was very, as I said, very robust. The Soviets liked it for its engineering. And would you believe it? They actually kept it in operation after the war ended. In fact, numerous Valentines were kept in action for a long time. Okay, now he's got a Valentine, so he does have to use the premium ammo. And from the front, it's very difficult to get pen, but you can do so either on the turret or the driver's port. I'm having difficulty trying to get out. I think he needs to deal with that Stuart first. Thank you. That'll go straight through with the premium rounds. Okay, the M3's decided to knock down the wall there so he can shoot at different directions, but in this position he's fairly safe. Now if we look at the list, we can see, oh, there he is again, the M3 Stuart. That's a real player. The bots have, two of the bots on the enemy team have already been killed. The only one on the enemy team that hasn't been killed is the M3 Panzer III Ausführung J, and we haven't seen him yet. So these are real players. Okay, missed the drive wheel there. He is well angled, but he is taking hits now, and that was an AP round from the Valentine. Don't poke your nose out, your rear out too much though. Okay, so there's the Panzer III Ausführung J. That's a bot. We can take down that guy. Not that it's easy to, but he's actually doing a strategic withdrawal at the moment. And yes, he is penetrating that one, even with the angling. And he's just tracked the guy. So now just go to work on that lower plate. Keep pumping those rounds in. Yeah, everyone's bouncing rounds off him because he's well angled. But the Valentine goes down, so that's the first one. Now, who's next? The M5 Stuarts decided to go around and hit the engine cover. Of course, it is weak and it is very thin, but he got wiped out for his trouble, and now it's just the Panzer III, and of course, as we know, that's a bot. Oh, is that a Panzer III? That's a Panzer Spy. It's a Panzer Spy J. It's the premium tank, and it looks like he's I don't know why it's coming as a bot, because it shouldn't really, but it is definitely the Panzer Spy Ausführung J. Didn't know that bots could actually use that one, but he's penetrating it all the same, and we are capping now. This thing can only penetrate if it uses the premium ammo. He tried to ram kill it, but I can shoot it. There's only one enemy left. He's behind us. It's a Smur. So he's turning to get his front in and just go for lower plate. Okay, Smur's notoriously thin armor on the sides, but he managed to get rid of that one, and the game is over. Well, despite there being a limited number of opponents in that game, Woody still managed to get a first-class tanker out of it, as well as a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually ended up with 4 exactly. A sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy. A shellproof for blocking more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. Duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. Fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, and a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 11 in this one. He also got a cool-headed for surviving 10 ricochets, non-penetrating shots in a row. And yeah, they were all trying to penetrate him with little success. Well, they did get a few shots in. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he also got a steel wall for blocking at least 1,000 hit points of damage, receiving at least 11 hits, and surviving the battle. His win rate in the game, 10,793, which is, of course, super unicum and quite a bit more. And of course, that's why he sent this one in, because he has sent in a replay featuring the Valentine where he got an ace tanker. But of course, he thought this one was amusing because the amount of medals he managed to get off only 7 opposition players. So it must have been very late at night when he got it. As you can see, he got the highest damage with 1,595 hit points. Second highest was the Valentine on the enemy team, who got a cool-headed in 602. And the third highest was the T70 on his own team, who got a cool-headed and 477. When it came to kills, he got the highest number of those with 4. And, well, all the others I've heard got 1 kill or nothing. And when it came to base XP, again, he's got the highest with 881. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. The next highest being the Panzer III Ausführung E and the T70. He fired 41 shots in the game, got 40 direct hits on the enemy, so he was aiming well. Wasn't just using auto aim as well. 32 penetrations with that 2-pounder. He did have to switch to premium ammo. In fact, he forgot to switch back. He did damage of 1,595 hit points, and all of it was done at close range. 42 hits received from the enemy, so more than got the 11 hits he needed for the steel wall. 4 of those penetrated, 35 non-penetrations, and 3 hits by way of splash damage. 887 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 4 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and on a premium count, oh no, it's actually a free-to-play account rather, he actually made a loss, 17,240 credits, but that's down to the ammo, I'm afraid. He did switch to the premium because he thought he needed it, and technically he did need it for the Panzer Ausstellung J. And I was very surprised, actually. It was a Spy. I misread it in my eyesight. I thought it was a Panzer III. But no, it was the Spy, the premium, the very expensive premium in a bot. 1,321 base XP. Well, base XP is 881, but he got 1,321 altogether. So all in all, it was interesting because there's so few tanks and getting so many medals. But yes, we learn a bit about this vehicle every time I think we play it. But yes, it's been seen at Tank Fest if you ever see one of these driving around. And I believe Sophie was actually in one once. I think I've got pictures of her in a Valentine. Anyway, I did say that I've got another replay, and that one is in the Valentine AT. So let's have a look at it. And we're on the northeastbourne of Province. You can see the Valentine shape, the hull, but a very thin gun shield, which is the weakness of this vehicle. We've got a 15-degree arc either side of the centre line, so 30 degrees overall. And the choice of gun, well, you can actually use the 6-pounder, which at tier 3 is overpowered. But in actual fact, this vehicle was then moved to tier 4, and it kept its 6-pounder gun all the same when it went over. The Alpha is 75 this time. It's 57mm, 110 penetration, and with the premium APCR, it's capable of 180mm penetration. The Hetzer was a little naughty there to try and punch his way through and say, I want a space at the window. And I can see that Woody has decided he's going to punch holes into the bushes just in case somebody's up there. He's got plenty of ammo. There's no need for him to worry about dispensing rounds. You never know if there's somebody up there who suddenly gets hit. He's also going for the secondary position. I sometimes use that false back position myself. Anyway, they actually only built one Valentine AT. The reason for this actually was that they dearly wanted to actually have the 17-pounder gun, and they decided in the end the 6-pounder wasn't really the right solution for it. So in actual fact, what they ended up doing, because the 17-pounder is such a heavy gun that they had to turn it around, and so the Archer, which of course was the vehicle that they actually made in the end, actually fired over the engine deck and would actually drive backwards. And while some people thought that was very odd, it's actually very good, because it meant that the Archer could make a quick getaway after it's done its kill. Got its kill, it could run off quickly before the enemy could react. You can see on this model that they actually show the gun racks, or the shell racks, for the 57mm rounds. They're slightly bigger than the 2-pounder rounds. They're quite small by comparison. The 57mm rounds, yeah, they're quite heavy. Or heavier. Certainly not the weight of a 75mm. And of course, the 17-pounder is actually 76.2mm. Oh, look! Our opposite number! And he went right through the gun shield with his first shot. It'd be nice actually if somebody could make a model actually showing the crewman. like they do with the Borsig. You know, I think you've probably all seen the model for the Borsig actually does have humans inside the cockpit. Of course, nothing actually happens to them, and if the vehicle gets wiped out, the crew disappear. But yes, some of these vehicles, they could actually put the crew in them. I don't see why they couldn't do that, and then obviously you'd see them operating as any military vehicle would, especially if they've got open cockpits. If you're wondering why I've been away for a couple of days and we haven't released any videos, I suddenly realized that I hadn't actually completed all my holiday ops missions, and so I've been furiously trying to get them all done on all 4 accounts, because of course if you haven't already got the missions, the Vinny's missions done, you won't be able to get the discounts that apply to the vehicles. If you notice that, unlike last year where you could actually get discounts of 100% or 70% I think it was, or 80% or 50%, you could actually get those only if you completed the missions. Nice. Shredding that. And that was a good shot because he got the engine. He didn't slow down though, but the guy sought cover. That M8A1 will make short work of him though, and he already has. Stug's responding, but he's gone. Yes, so you need to complete all the missions to actually get the discounts. Oh, there's another one there, T28. No, there's another T20. Yeah, T28. Turn back. That's it. He missed it. Well, he almost missed it. Now the M8A1 is actually feeling the wrath because, of course, he really doesn't have the armor compared. And yeah, the T28 got the better of him. Oh dear. So yes, it's important to complete all the missions so you could then actually attach the discounts to vehicles you're going to buy in the future. And that can be very, very useful because, of course, it's going to save you millions of credits. If you haven't actually got a vehicle that you can actually discount, one thing you can do is you can actually find a vehicle that you bought or that is at that particular tier, and then dispose of it by selling it, putting all the extras you've added on into the inventory, and then sell the vehicle and then get the 0 discount applied and buy it at 0 price. So effectively you've got a whole load of credits for nothing. Okay, so that T28's decided he's going to come down, so pre-aim. Hello. 2 shots, all that's necessary. Nope. 3. There you go. Nice. So that's another kill. In fact, actually, it's his only kill so far because he didn't get the kill on the Stug. The enemy are outnumbering us at the moment. That's a bit worrying. Tier 4 only game. But he's doing his job guarding the cap area all the same. Now, if you are having difficulty completing the missions, I know some people are, as I did mention on What Arty Noobs, that the usual trick, if you have to get block shots or you have to get a large number of penetrations, is to actually take out a low tier vehicle such as the Churchill 3 or the KV-220. Because with those vehicles, they've got such a fast fire rate with the 57mm gun that you can actually rack through the number of penetrations you need, or indeed you can even get masses of block shots. Because of course both vehicles are extremely tough. Okay, he's decided to do it this way. All turn, pivot, traverse. That's it. That's another. Might have to drive down there to take that Stug out. Yeah. Now, in actual fact, in the game, you can, if you want, have the 3.7-inch howitzer instead of the 6-pounder. But I'm afraid the 3.7-inch howitzer is actually a fake gun. never had that. I mean, it is true that if you have the 3.7-inch howitzer, you can dispose of enemy tanks very, very quickly. Because, of course, it's got a massive alpha. It's 94 millimeters, the caliber of 3.7, and the alpha is well, it's equally high. Can you get the kill? One more, and he's got him. Yes, the alpha is 370, but the shells are very slow as well, and they tend to go high. So because they're much slower, they're only about half the speed of normal shells. The shells of on this one will do 720 meters per second, but the no, it's not 720. It's 892 meters per second. But the high explosive shells are a lot slower. So it's like waiting for ages for the shell to come back down and hit the ground. Well, it's 2-on-2 now. The thing is that it's the Hetzer and us on this team. The guy who barged in and said, "Can I have some space?" He's decided to set himself up on ambush just in case they come along this side of the map. I suspect that they might be waiting for us at the enemy end, though. And we've only got 5 minutes, and this thing does not move very quickly. Although we just saw a shell explode to our left. Okay, I think that the enemy is in our cap area. And it looks like the Hetzer wants it, or is he going the other way? No, he's going to do it from a different angle. Well, do we think it's going to be the SAU-40 or the SU-76 GFT? I think it might be the SUA-40. It's got the bushes lined up perfectly here, so he can roll up and he still can't be seen. That's it. Hetzer's going to have a look. There he is. In fact, both of them are down here. Now, go for the carbuncle on the top. That's it. That's the weak spot. And nicely, he's got that one. Now, can he take out the SU-76? Well, we can't see him. He's actually behind the rock, so we should both go in at the same time and force him to either kill one or get killed by the other. In fact, the Hetz has decided to do it straight off. Oh, got a huge lag. Massive lag. Oh, what's going on here? That time of night, I think. Well, the SU-76 has decided to turn his back to us. And yes, we get the kill. And that's it. They've won. And here's the end of battle results. And that was the first ace tanker, or first class tanker for WoodyAmsterdam. And it's down to the fact, of course, that he's opened this new account and therefore he's playing these for the first time. Well, he's had to open the new account because of the security leak and the losing the other account. He's got a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills again. He also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one, he got 9. And he also got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. And on top of that, he got a defender as well for resetting the cap enough times to get a 70 capture points in the process. 8,395 win rate, which means super income again. So, yes, very nice. I don't think it'd be a good idea to do too many replays featuring the Valentine, unless, of course, you do something very peculiar and score a victory single-handed and end up with 14 kills or something of that nature. I think we'd like to see other new vehicles because, of course, we don't often see videos at this particular tier. It's unusual, to say the least. In fact, I don't think you'll see any of the other content creators for World of Tanks actually making videos for tiers 1, 2, or 3. And although it's actually fun to feature them every now and then, I don't think we should feature them on a regular basis. I think it's more likely that, yeah, we've had this enjoyable video. That's it for this particular tank, unless you find something very unusual. If we look at the team score, we can see that he did get the highest damage with 1,398. The next highest was the Matilda on the enemy team, who managed to get 1,206. And the third highest damage was the M8A1 on our team, who got 1,168. He was the guy who went venturing over the other side of the map and unfortunately met the T28. When it came to kills, yep, he got the highest of those. 4 kills for WoodyAmsterdam. 3 kills went to the M8A1 and 3 to the SAU-40 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was actually the M8A1 because he was spotting. And that's why he ended up with more base XP. And we only got 632 for Woody. And the third highest in this one, well, actually went to the Matilda on the enemy team with 498. So he didn't get the top in all columns on this occasion. He actually only got top in 2. He fired 32 rounds, got 22 direct hits and 20 penetrations. 1,398 hit points of damage, of which 552 were at more than 300 meters. So he might have actually got hits on enemy tanks that he didn't actually see. Well, we did see the Valentine AT and the Stug, the SAU-40 at the end of the game, SU-76 at the end of the game, and oh, now this is interesting. There were 2 Stugs. Yes, because one of them was actually in the cap and the other one was over the other side of the valley. And he killed the one in the cap. This is the one. And that must have been the one that was killed by the M8A1. And then, of course, the T28. And, of course, he killed him when he came down to the cap area. So he didn't kill anyone over on the far side, but at least he tried anyway. So, yeah, an interesting game on the... so just check again, actually. No, we didn't go over the rest of the details, did we? 6 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, 16 hit points of damage assistance, and 100 defense points resetting the cap because he reset it multiple times. He had a profit of 37,256 credits for the game, and he also got a profit on XP, 7,413. So at least he didn't make a loss in this one, but then the thing doesn't actually require you to fire that many rounds in the game. It's certainly not premium rounds because the 6-pounder has actually got decent penetration all on its own. And that's why having it in a tier 4 tank actually is a bit OP to a certain extent. The only problem is, of course, the Valentine AT has that big gun shield, which is a real weak spot. And if everybody knows that it's there, they just aim for the gun shield. And of course, they take you down with just 1 HE round if they've got it available. But yes, it's actually an interesting tank, but I think it's only major fun to play when you're actually desperately trying to grind it. I hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.